How are you, man?
I'm doing well. Doing really
That's
well.
that's good. Move this camera.
Might sound a little off. I don't know. I got a little congested today. I'm
Um,
a little stuffy.
oh,
Feel good
good.
though.
That's good. That's good, man. Good evening. You kids, get all the kids to sleep already?
They all went to sleep fine today. Yeah.
That's good. What ages are they?
One, a little over one, and then like 3.5.
Yeah, yeah. I got my daughter's 3.5, and my son is 18 months. So
Pretty close
it's
then. Really close.
yeah, it's 8 o'clock, 8:30. They're usually in bed, but it's a zoo usually the last hour doing the baths and everything. Just it gets crazy.
Yeah. My son's been sleeping really well for over a year now, but my daughter still has some real rough nights,
Yeah.
which
Yep.
means we all have rough nights.
Exactly. Yeah. That's. You said she was just over one. She's.
Yeah, she was one in September, so like
Yeah.
15,
Yeah.
16 months.
Yeah. That's awesome though. Having any more?
Done. Two's
Yes.
enough. We
Yep.
got the boy, we got the girl, done.
Hell yeah. That's exactly where we're at. So
Yeah.
it's not official. I still need to go and do my procedure to get all that put away, but it's hopefully in the very near future.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
two's plenty. You have a third, it's like you need bigger cars, you need a bigger house, you need i- i- an even number. Even four is nice.
oh yeah, I couldn't imagine having to get you got to get a van or some giant traverse that I don't really want to have. So yeah, it's crazy, man. But appreciate you jumping in here. I hit record a little bit ago, but appreciate you being punctual and making it on time. Yeah, it's been a pretty crazy day. I don't know about you. Consume any Pokemon content today?
A little bit, yeah. I had a nice productive morning, eBay listings and all that, and
Yeah.
then the afternoon was shot.
Yeah,
I
it
had a
was.
YouTube video to watch, and then Instagram, Discord, YouTube, the forum, all over the place.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. So I guess I'm going to do a quick introduction to you, even though most of the people that probably subscribe to me already subscribe to you. Seems to be a pretty tight niche community. But again, I'm Josh. You can call me Josh. And I've been doing this for about 2 years, this being collectibles since right when COVID started, basically. Bought my first collection and pretty much have been buying, flipping into it. Gaining collections and then selling stuff as I've been going, as I'm sure most people are doing. But the story more is about you. Most of the people know about me here, but you are Dan, right? Dan, and former engineer now at this point because you have quit your job. I did
Yep.
re-listen to your first podcast, and you were, I don't know what type of engineer you were, but I get that in a second, but your engineering, quit that to do this full time. With probably the Pokemon boom probably helped with help pay off your house at one point,
Oh
so which
yeah.
was awesome. um, I didn't get to reap so many benefits. I had some because I was early 2020, but it was still pretty good for me. But yeah, so I'm really interested to get to know you a little bit more. I know quite a bit, been following you for quite some time. Feel like I've talked to you before, but I never have. So it's pretty appreciate you taking the time again. And who is Catch 'em all?
Yeah, so I kind of the traditional story. I'm 31 now. So back when it came out in 99, I was 9 in fourth or fifth grade. And just the standard story. I wasn't into the anime a ton, but it was mainly the video games. I played Yellow and Crystal were my two, and then the cards. I got out of it around gym sets into Neo,
Yeah.
and I got out of the games with Sapphire. So a long gap from like '03 back in 2014 though. I had recently bought my own house, moved out of my parents at the time, and I think I just in the move came across my childhood binder, and that like got me going with it.
Oh yeah.
And a few years prior, actually, like in college, I had also seen my binder and I bought a couple singles to like fill out my jungle set, my
Yeah.
fossil set, like I think a hollow Wigglytuff I needed for my unlimited jungle set. I wish I had like dove fully back in then in 2011, but
Yeah.
unfortunately I didn't. 2014 is when I got fully back in. I bought a case of Phantom Forces. It was the newest set on the block, and I just loved it. I fell right back in love with Pokemon, and
Rip the whole box, huh?
yeah, I did a case.
Yeah, the
And
whole
then
case.
because in throughout college, I had flipped coins, I'd flipped video games. I used to do people who've known me for years. I used to go buy Steins was in my name on
Yeah.
eBay. I used to buy and sell beer steins. So yeah, I dove right into it, and I realized like I'd kind of thought throughout my college years that Pokemon like was gone. I didn't
Yeah.
realize it was still a thing,
Yeah.
and it's like, man, there's been 70 sets that I've missed, 80 sets that I've missed. So naturally, my first goal was I want to open every single box I missed.
Yep.
That was my first goal, getting back into the hobby, and I did it. It took me a couple years, but I did it. Obviously, you having re-entered in 2020, not a remotely feasible goal.
No.
It
No.
was hard enough when I got into it, but I think the single most expensive box I opened was like $3,000 for a Neo Destiny first edition. And obviously that's like 10x or more now.
Oh yeah.
I was able to open a decent amount of them for like break even, but I lost money on quite a few too. I mean, it was a
Yeah.
collector's endeavor more so than a business. But just buying intelligently, like buying big lots to keep what I wanted and then flipping the rest, I've been able to grow to where I could quit my job and go full time with this with just the inventory that I built off that initial seed money into my collection in 2014.
That's crazy. That's awesome. And obviously, it's been going pretty good. You're still not an engine, not working as an engineer, right? So.
Yeah, I quit in July of 21. 2020 was very kind to me, like just the way that I am. I'm a bit of a hoarder
Yeah.
slash collector. So much of what I had built up over the 6 year period from 14 to 20, 10x or more that year. And I really did the best I could to whole a lot of it out,
Yeah.
sell it onto the market, and built me up a decent bit of a like nest egg and kind of a safety blanket to give me
Yep.
the freedom to leave the job. Um, I was a chemical engineer.
Okay. I was going to ask where, what type of engineering degree you're. That's cool, man.
Yeah, I was a chemical engineer. I liked it a lot, but the freedom, the freedom is unbeatable, especially having a family and all that. Just being able to set my own hours. If I don't want to go into work someday, I can just decide to not go in, and I can go in. I can work at night, do stuff like this, set my own schedule. It's nice.
Yeah. No, I'm in engineering school for the last 13 years. So I've been going part time and grinding it out for mechanical engineering, and I don't know if I'll ever finish, but I haven't taken any time off until COVID. But basically just focused on work straight out of high school, and um, yeah, it's been pretty interesting. I never. I remember the first time telling my wife, "It's like, hey, I'm gonna go spend 3 grand on these Pokemon cards." She about shit herself. Like, do you have a similar time where you had to tell your wife that you're going to go drop tons of money on these cards?
Yeah, so when I got back in 2014, we weren't yet engaged. We did get engaged in 2014, but I'm pretty sure it was pre-engagement. So it was like my money. It was my
Yeah,
money at the time.
yeah, your own
I didn't,
account.
yeah, I didn't have to justify it. So I seeded everything that I have now. I seeded it with like 5 grand. And then just over the last 7 or 8 years, literally thousands of hours.
Yep.
So there were a couple times where I dipped into our, like, once we were engaged and then married, there were times where I bought the new biggest collection I've ever bought, and I had to like borrow money from our
Yeah.
personal account. Hey, I promise I'll pay it back. This is how I'm gonna pay it back. I always got approval, so it always worked out. Um, but yeah, my wife's not into Pokemon, but she's supportive though.
Yeah.
She doesn't understand all of what I'm doing, but she's like, "You're enjoying it, having fun. You seem to know what you're doing. Have at it."
Yep, exactly. Yeah, same story for me. We shared bank accounts since we were like 18 though, so I had to get permission from her the first time and every time basically, until I started the own checking account and stuff. But it's been she's saying doesn't like Pokemon, probably can name three of them, maybe three. And it's pretty it's interesting to say the least. So
Yeah,
yep. Um, so this guy Logan Paul, you heard of him?
yeah.
He, I think he dropped a YouTube video today that I know you were in watching Jake Pokenomics video. So what do you think, man? There's a lot of
Oh,
heat coming on some people right now.
I was hoping it was gonna be real. Nick and I actually recorded last night. We kind of made it was a 2.5 hour video. I think if you started watching it at the time that it went live, you would have just gotten to the point where we were making our guesses.
I think I have 45 minutes left of your guys' video.
So
And then
you
I
were
said,
getting close to it, yeah.
yep, that's
Um,
hilarious.
I guessed real and Nick guessed fake.
Really?
My guess was based on almost nothing because I think there's a lot of overconfidence, or there was a lot of overconfidence pre-announcement. There was definitely some good detective work by Rattle. I think some of it got a little bit out there towards the end of it, towards
Yeah.
video 4 or 5, however many he went. But
He went deep. Yeah, he went in on him.
yeah, it's a shame. I think I hoped it was real. I think it would have been better for the hobby, like the validity of the hobby, if it had been real. And it's kind of a bad look to see all these articles being written up, and I don't know. It is what it doesn't affect me in any way. So I'm not
Yeah.
like I'm not crushed over it. It's not really affecting me in any way, but
Yep. You weren't a shareholder in GI Joe before now?
no.
No.
Unfortunately, I don't have any GI Joe to list up on eBay tonight because I think it's a hot search.
I made sure to right when I watched the video, I went and screenshotted like the last sold box. It was like $80, and it's already at $400. Like,
I saw there's a 91 and there's an '04. I think some people are buying the '04s,
yep,
which isn't even the right one.
yep. It was the night. Yeah, the one I screenshotted was the 91. Is $80. So I don't know what that
Yeah.
one's at. All the ones selling now are from '04 for
And I
400.
think the '04 ones are Watsy, which is funny, but those weren't the ones
I
in
know.
it. I don't believe.
Yeah, I did see there were Watsy too. I'm like, what are the odds? Like, that's
Yeah.
hilarious. Yeah, but it's I don't know, man. It's absolutely crazy. I almost felt for the guy watching it. Like you feel for him in these videos because they're pretty well made. And I feel really bad for Baseball Card Exchange because their business is I would be turning off my phones for a week probably. Because that is they're gonna catch some heat for sure. I don't know how many boxes I see with their wraps on them. At least a lot of sports cards aren't sealed, so they're sealing them, which is good. Like it's wax, so they can their seal is the seal.
Yeah, they open it, verify the packs, and then they seal it, right?
So that's good. But man, they're that's some damage control from a lot of people going on.
I mean,
That's
hopefully
for
it
sure.
turns into a positive. Hopefully it just makes it where in the future, if he ever touches any of it again, he goes inside the case, goes inside a box, verifies everything, and then like what Rusty did with the box that he sold to Logan,
Yep.
he had cut into that, verified, weighed, and then resealed it and did like a tamper-proof sticker.
Yep.
I think it's just getting to the point, the dollar amounts where, I mean, I'd rather buy something being 100% sure it was legitimate than 99% sure, and then having that, and whether this was 99% or whether it was 50-50, whatever it was, I have no idea, but obviously we know it was fake.
Yeah. So having now just lost 6 first edition boxes, just lopped it right off the top of what was available. How many do you think are out there? Like I had heard sub 100, some people say 80-ish. Any idea? You got a ballpark?
I would definitely guess over 100.
Yeah.
Complete guess,
Yeah.
but I could, obviously not those 6 anymore, but
Yeah.
I could come up with at least 20, I would think, that I'm
Yeah.
aware of. And I'm a little guy who doesn't own one, but I know of several. Look at all the ones that have popped up: Golden, Heritage, PWCC. I'd be shocked if the number was lower than 100. I'd also be shocked if it was more than like 200 or 300.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I know all the first ed jungles and fossils, those are much more in population than first ed base, obviously, but yeah, I'd probably struggle personally to get to 20 because I probably don't know the people you do, but I think Gary has 9 or something, so he's almost half. He's
Yeah, I
half
mean,
20 there.
Gary
So.
has 9 and Logan has 5. PokeJew publicly owns 1. So there's 15 between, or 14 between those 3.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy though, just to lose 6 out of thin air like that.
Yeah.
It's real. It's crazy. How is your organization going? Because I remember it was like your goal of 2021 you had said in one of your early podcasts. Is that any better?
It's better, but that's not saying much. It was
Yeah.
really, really bad. I do have like the new office set
Yeah.
up now, at least.
Pan the camera.
Oh yeah, I can't show you. I can't even pan the camera down because there's just stacks and stacks of mess.
Yep.
But yeah, it's improving. Troll and Toad Evo was a big thing for 2021 that helped me I chucked a lot of stuff out there. Like
Yep.
I didn't send it on pallets, but if I were to have sent it all at once, it would have been like pallets and pallets worth that I sent over the year.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Mainly modern-ish cards.
A lot of vintage though too. A lot of modern, a lot of vintage, not a whole lot of in between. Kind of the standard.
Yeah, I need to get into. I've heard you mention Evo probably 37.5 times, and I made the account, haven't pulled the trigger on doing it. Like just I guess to help me understand. Like I got a box that's sorted by set. Do I need to hard enter in each card name, each line?
You don't have to. You can, and it saves you money, but you can use what they call raw fulfillment. It used to be 6 cents a card. Now it's 10 cents a card because the demand has increased for their services a lot and they got a little backlogged. But yeah, for 10 cents a card, you can send them a box of miscellaneous stuff and they'll go through and they'll fully itemize it and they'll upload it to your inventory. And it won't go live for sale. Like you'll have to manually make it go live for sale and set the pricing and all that. But
Wow.
it's the raw fulfillment is a great service because I've taken like 100 cards and timed myself entering them in versus like doing the math on 100 cards. That's $10 to pay them. It's worth paying them over me doing it myself most of the time.
I could, 100%.
Yeah, unless you've got like if you've got dozens of each one, obviously it goes a lot quicker. But if you're talking like, I mean, I've got monster boxes of just unsorted 5,000 mid-era reverse hollows, things like that. That's worth raw fulfillment every time.
Yep. Yeah, I got a bunch of shadowless cards that aren't near mint, so I'm leaning towards those getting submitted. And Nick won't sell me his near mint Diglets. I'm pretty pissed off about it, but it is what it is. I got this new case that you probably respect. It's
Oh, nice.
This is about the size you buy, right? That you hold your slabs in.
That's the same as the ones I use. Yeah.
Exactly.
See?
Yeah, they're nice and loose on the card, so you instead of having the tight fit sleeves, that's perfect. Just easy to file, pull it out of the box.
So I'm the kind of person who, like, when I find a deal, I'll, like, even with food, like if something doesn't expire for 2 years, like some kind of canned good, and I can find a deal on it, I'll buy as much as I can. And things like this, they don't expire. So one time I found a deal where I think I got 2 cases, like 20,000 of these, and I got it for like a quarter of what I would have got it through my distributor.
Yeah.
So I bought it, and they're almost gone though. They're almost gone finally.
Now, do those fit very good over BGS slabs? Have you tried or no?
I have so few BGS slabs. I
Same.
thought I had one. I've never even put a BGS slab in one.
Because obviously the CGC PSA is the same size, but the BGS ones, maybe SGC too. I don't know, but they might be perfect fits.
They could be, yeah. I could have sworn I had. I don't know where it went.
That organization.
Yeah, on that organization thing. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I recently picked up like a little bit of alpha and beta stuff.
Nice.
It's still a little loose.
Is
Not
it still? Oh my God. Hot
not
dog in the hallway.
not too bad, but
Wow.
it's better.
That is like a garbage bag from Kroger's.
Yeah.
Jeez. That's hilarious. So you're getting into Magic and you've never played Magic. I think you've only played Pokemon, you mentioned,
Yeah,
recent.
I've never even played Pokemon proper.
Yeah.
Back when I was younger, we used to you could use whatever attack without the energy, anything like that. So like Charizard and Zapdos were really good because you could just slap
Yeah.
down 100 attack. Um, Magic though, I have some memories from when I was younger. I never owned any, I never played it, but I had some cousins who I don't know if they played or if they just collected, but I've been picking up a couple arts. Like I don't even know the names of them,
Yeah.
but when I see them on PWCC, it's like that art is familiar to me. Let me buy it.
So you got a problem buying cards right now? You having a little like the last 3 of your last 4 videos is a bunch of stuff you're buying.
I've been buying too much because I have such a disorganized backlog of stuff to get listed and get sold. Yet I keep buying more and more. And then 700 cards just landed today from CGC. So I don't know when I'll get caught up. Probably never.
Yeah. You ever thought about bringing just a friend in to have them sit in the corner just uploading eBay listings?
I have a family member who helps me occasionally with the photographs because I'm not much of a photographer and I don't really enjoy it.
All
But
right. Yeah.
so I do have occasional help with that, but I'm still I can't catch up.
Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy. You got all that stuff. There's a lot of stuff because I know you purchased some big stuff off Heritage and you got your eyes set on anything coming up here in the TCG block they got in February, early February.
I haven't even honestly. I'm trying to be good and I'm trying to not look and buy too much.
Yeah.
But then when the big lots come up, like I have some viewers who they're like, "Hey, did you see this one? Hey, did you see that one?" It's like I'm trying to not look, and now you guys are showing. Now I'm gonna have to go buy it.
Yep. Yeah, I PWCC, Golden, Heritage, all of that stuff has been bad for me. It's been what do you think about PWCC's move to their weekly auction? You selling anything through it, or did you pull everything out? Can't remember.
I still have. I do want to do a video at some point. I think I mentioned I would, maybe for next week, but I still have hundreds of cards in the vault. A lot of it's like my personal collection. Um, but I sold a bunch in the December block, not even knowing that it was going to be the last monthly. But I'm kind of glad I timed it that way. The weekly, I didn't send anything for this first one. I'll probably hold off for a couple of weeks and just see how things go. But I'm gonna do a lot of auctions myself. Not a lot, but like what I had intended to do long term was to just flush out maybe 50 cards or so a month through PWCC.
Yeah.
But a lot of the like low mid tier that's not doing well on PWCC right now. Like it needs to be on eBay.
Yep.
You can put up almost anything on eBay, and there's like, I don't want to say there's a floor price on them, but there is a bit more of a floor price. Like people will just pay 10, 12 bucks for anything, I think.
Yeah. As long as it doesn't end in the middle of the night, you're good, I feel.
Yeah, yeah. If you end it on a Sunday evening, is kind of like the best time, which that's what PWCC is doing as well. So,
Yep. Yes. So you're going to be auctioning more cards through, like I saw you did the video comparing your auction against Z's and Nick's, right? And it was pretty
yep.
almost a wash. Like obviously they might have more followers, but I mean, I don't think that's everything on eBay at all. But so that's huge.
Yeah, it was funny how close it ended up working out. I'm glad it worked out that way. I was actually talking to Nick about that last night. I would have felt bad, like if if it was me who like way underperformed them, I would have just made a joke out of it.
Yeah.
But if one of them did really bad somehow, and
Yeah.
I know the way auctions work, I know that the way they are, it wouldn't have been on them. I mean, sometimes it's just hit or miss. Sometimes even if you're listing ending at the right time, sometimes things just vary a lot.
Yep.
But it ended up really tight, and I think both those guys have good services to use. Especially if you're selling in the low to mid end, I'd much rather send to one of those two guys than PWCC right now.
Yep. Yeah, I consigned through, I think it was like almost 200 cards through Z when he first did it. I was like, it's one of his first consignments. Tons of CGC cards.
Yep.
They're all 9s and 8.5 non-hollow first edition gym set cards, and
Yeah.
which is all they hand out, obviously, right? As you know.
I've got
Yeah.
a stack of 8.5 gyms right here.
They hate non-hollow cards, I swear to God. I'll never grade it if I ever grade with them. A non-hollow card in my life.
Yeah.
Those things get hammered. It's great. Like most of those probably got an 8.5 surface on your non-hollows, and then you look at the hollow that's got print lines and all this other jazz, and it's better. That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I sent way too many cards to them way too early before understanding their grading scale. Um, when the pop reports come out for CGC, hopefully they do by the end of this quarter. I think, as they said, I'm really interested to dive into that
Yeah,
and see
same.
how it is.
Yep. You got any cards you suspect could be pop one through CGC? Any 9.5 10s that you're hodling?
I've got a few tens that I've held on to. The first few that I graded, I just sold them off because
Yeah,
I thought that they were going to be like a thing. I thought that I was going to get more back, and I
same,
didn't really. I
same.
have like a Savile CGC 10, no subgrades, so it's not like, I don't know whether it's perfect or pristine. That one could be a pop one, maybe. I don't know how many more people graded the McDonald's cards,
Yeah, that's.
but yeah, I don't know.
I graded one of my first submissions was 10 cards, and it was like a CD promo set. My Charizard came back at 10 with subgrades,
Nice.
and I
Perfect
sold
10?
it. Well, yeah, no, it was a pristine. It had
Wow.
9.5 centering. Sold it below PSA 10 pricing. Just like I was like, oh, this is a thing. You're gonna get 10s from CGC. No, no, that's
Yep.
probably the only one
Yeah.
that exists.
Yeah. So that's going to be the first one you search out when the pop
I've
report
been
lands.
I've been wanting to buy it back ever since I sold it. I was so sad. So it's yeah, they do not give English cards. Tens is not a thing. It's wild.
Well, even Japanese, like I graded a lot of clean screen promos. I've
Yep.
graded the Illustrator, Zard, Kanazawa's. I've graded a lot of Japanese that hits like 60+% PSA 10 rates, and I wasn't getting like 30% 9.5s, let alone 10s.
I know. Yeah, so I don't know if you saw it, but I cracked out some Expedition Reverse cards. I did like 7 of them. Like they're all 9s, a Dragonite, Charizard, Mew, like some of the expensive ones, to send to them to see if they would cross over to a higher grade to SGC. So um, I hear they're a little more lenient. They're similar to PSA as their grading scale. So really curious to see how that's going to go.
I didn't see those ones, but I did see the Charizard and the Lugia that you sent in the case that didn't upgrade. I saw those.
Yeah, I didn't have the balls in me to. I really want to crack out the Lugia, but man, that's a lot of balls.
It's tough because like I don't believe the grader could be completely unbiased. Like when they see that 9 from another
Oh yeah,
company,
it
like
wrecks it.
you said, especially when they see the subgrades, they okay, this subgrade is this, they look for it and then
Yep,
they confirm it. Okay, this isn't going to be an SGC 10.
yep,
Whereas if you send it raw, it's going to be not that it's going to guaranteed get it, but it's going to be more likely.
yep. Yeah, I think it definitely one of those would have had a shot at something above a 9. Well, the 9.5 Charizard was already 9.5, but yeah, I just didn't have the balls. I couldn't do it. I've cracked a PSA 5 Shadowless Charizard. That's probably one of the most expensive ones, but yeah, it's pretty interesting. That whole you can make some decent money doing that stuff, cracking out like PSA, submitting to CDC, because I think CDC is really lenient on the lower grades. Like a CDC 5 is trashed compared to a PSA 5. Like that thing's been drove over by a semi and splashed in mud half the times. It's I've only seen a couple CDC ones in my life.
Yeah.
They're like 10s. Um, you the heritage auctions, obviously that's been a big one. I've been looking at a bunch. You outbid me on the one big collection you purchased, which is bullshit. And it was your first edition set. I think it was with that wonky Charizard you got, which
Oh,
it was that one. It was that set. I think that was a heritage set. That was
that one
CDC
was
one.
that one was eBay with the
Oh, that
PSA
was the
8.
eBay one. Yeah. So the
Yeah.
CDC one was through Heritage. That was bid on. That was yeah. So that wasn't the wonky Charizard.
No, that one, that's a CGC 8 Charizard that looks pretty nice. I haven't yet sat down with those hollows and looked at them closer, but some of those are going to get cracked and sent to PSA for sure.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I guess just my experience, like I've graded a bunch of hollows with CGC, not so many non-hollows, but it seems a lot of their hollows, they were elite. Like my Lugia that I had, I think was dead nuts a PSA 8. I didn't think I had a chance at a PSA 9. I thought it had a best chance based on subgrades to go to CGC and get a 9, which it did. So I think, I don't know, some cards they're easier on. I think they definitely have different graders for the higher end stuff. Like the people that are grading the non-hollow gym sets, like they probably just picked them off the street and telling them to hand out 8.5s, I think, or something. It's crazy.
They like that 8.5 grade.
Jeez, it's killing me. It's killing me. I got way too many of them. That's for sure.
Oh,
Yeah,
I've got thousands right now.
yeah. That's an ugly number. It's not that pretty. That's for sure. They're basically killing themselves. Not like I think you mentioned in your last podcast. Like the distribution of 10s, right? Is if they if CDC had that just same distribution of 10s as PSA, it would be a hell of a battle for who's going to be the grading company. Because like you said, I like their slabs are clear, they're clean, but man, it's not having the ability to collect a vintage 10 set just kills it.
Yeah, and like people like PSA, if you follow Gem Rate at all, PSA gives out 43% of the cards they grade get PSA 10. And a lot of that's modern, but a
Yeah.
lot of it's vintage stuff too. And that's literally everything they grade. People like 10s. People see a 10 out of 10, and in their mind, it's like that's a perfect card. Even though a lot of people know that it's not, but they see the label 10 out of 10, that's as good as it gets. people don't want 9.5s. People don't want 9s. They want easy 10s.
Yep. Yeah, well, I want 9s because I can't afford some first edition base 10s, but can barely afford those. Those things are expensive. If you find a PSA 9 Charizard, by the way, let me know. I'm looking.
I've actually got one. I've got one that I'd sell because I'm happy with my CGC 8.
I'll let you know. I'll definitely.
It's probably the lowest listed one in the PWCC vault currently. I think it's listed for like 35 or something. It's listed high, but it's the lowest in the vault.
Yeah. There was another guy on Instagram I've been following who's selling his PSA 9 Charizard and Pokemon Yellow version first print 9.48 plus for 26 grand, which seems like a steal. So
Oh, he's selling both of them together for that?
both of them for that, or 8 Ethereum. So I think he's been desperate or something. He's been pushing it. I've bought from him before. It's out of Australia, but
I really would love to get a yellow graded. That was my
yeah,
dream. Crystal too, but crystal's expensive also.
yeah, I don't get. Yeah, I guess everybody must. I didn't. That's one I didn't play. Was Crystal. That's the most expensive one besides yellow
Yeah.
and red. So, but yeah, I'll definitely let you know, man. I'm definitely. I need 6 more of the first ed based PSA 9. So it's been a slow grind. I missed the PWCCs off eBay because I'd get one a month almost. But
Yeah, I have. Well, that set that I just bought, I'm pretty much listing all those, the
yeah,
PSA ones, and I just listed today a Zapdos and a Blastoise. And then in my vault, I have all of mine listed
all right.
because I'm happy with the CGC ones I got.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I get the 9 set, right? The full. You got a full 9 set basically.
Some have already sold. So like I already sold a Mewtwo. I forget which ones exactly, but I sold a few over the past couple months.
For your CGC set though, or no?
The PSA set.
Yeah, you have the full 9 CGC set though.
8s and 9s. 8s, 8.5s and 9s. Right now I've got like I don't even have
Like
full tabs on what
10,
I have.
like 10 complete sets.
Like no, like 2 to 3.
Yeah, 2 to 3.
um yeah.
That's good.
Right now, Blastoise specifically, I have 2 PSA 9s and then the CGC 9. And they're all I like them all. I'm probably just gonna list all 3 at what I value them at, and then the first 2 to sell, I'll just pull the third one off, and that'll be mine. I would be happy with any of the 3.
Yeah, yep. No, it's clean set for sure. Present very well. You so obviously you've gotten into Metazoo quite a bit. You're uploading a Metazoo video Saturday to avoid the hate mail or something. Because I know Rudy gets them back every time. Obviously the dislike button's gone now, which will help. That helps significantly.
We can still see it though. We see what people
Yeah.
like. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So it's obviously it's got to affect the algorithm still. You get a dislike. So how you've been obviously liking that journey? You got a handful of Kickstarter boxes or just the one?
2.
Two?
So I bought 4 total, but I sold 2. I'm really enjoying Metazoo, like legitimately. When I first did a video, I actually had some people that I know were like, "What are you doing? There's no way you really like this. Quit shilling this kid."
Chilling. Yeah.
Uh, and then some people that I didn't know at all, literally like they commented or they sent me an email or an Instagram message like, "You're gonna turn into a shill pump Metazoo channel," and it's like, dude, I'm I've got a YouTube channel to show what I'm doing in my business and what I'm collecting and what I enjoy. And I'm not. I have almost no Metazoo listed right now. I have a little bit of stuff through my Evo, but this Saturday I'm going to do a video talking about the NFTs I bought, the sample cards, the Kickstarter boxes. None of it's for sale. Like I don't want to sell any of it right now.
Yeah.
So I'm not pumping and dumping anything like that.
Yeah. No, it was genius marketing they did. Just being the cryptids, everybody can relate to it if you're not a trading card person. Like if I showed my mom a Bigfoot card, she'd be like, That's Bigfoot. Where's the Slim Jim? Like, just everybody can relate and it's perfect. if they haven't, they should be making plushies, and literally, it's sky's the limit.
Yeah. Yeah, they're
You
in Walmart now. They just recently got into Target as well. They're not in there yet, but Target's coming. Plushes are coming. I've seen announced. It's really cool to just like when Pokemon came out, I was there and I was into it and it was a lot of fun. But I was a kid with no money.
yeah,
Now it's like I've got Pokemon money. I'm an adult. I can buy whatever I want. I can buy it all if I want. It's a fun journey, just like being there. Unfortunately, I wasn't like a Kickstarter backer, so not from like literal day one, but I'm in pretty early, and it's been pretty exciting. They've got the serialized top stuff going. They've got some extreme rarity. Low. That's a weird thing with Pokemon. Like Magic and a lot of other card games. The oldest is the rarest also. So like the Alpha Black Lotus is the undisputed king of the hobby in Magic because it's the oldest, the
yeah.
rarest, and then if you get it, the mintest. Pokemon is weird in that like base first edition Charizard printed total than a lot of the like mid-era stuff. It's just a weird dynamic where the first couple of years of Pokemon, all the early stuff is like really, really high print runs.
Yep.
Base set first edition less so, but like Jungle, Fossil, Rocket, those were printed like crazy, the first editions.
Yep. Yeah, it's Metazoo. I've only watched from afar. I haven't dove into it. I've watched tons of content. I'm learning about it, know about it. Familiar with all the people involved that are running it and co-owning it. Steve Aoki's co-owner or part investor, chair member. I don't know, but the NFTs you said you're in, so they've already minted and released NFTs for them.
Yep. Yeah, the
Okay.
mint was in early December. And I got on the whitelist and I actually minted in like the private whitelisted mint. And then the next day they had like the public mint for 3 times the price. Um, but within the first couple weeks, I had some Ethereum kicking around that I mined years ago, and having such a low cost basis into it, I'm like, let me throw it into this. This seems fun, and I mean, I haven't sold, so I haven't realized any gains, but on paper, I've got quite substantial gains in that. They've gone high.
So I currently own 0 NFTs. I am not personally a big fan. I think it's serious high risk to
Oh,
anybody, and obviously you're
absolutely.
only going to do it with play money essentially. Like you have the money to burn, and if it goes up, it goes up. If you lose it, then whatever, it was a ride, right? So
Yeah.
I understand the whole thing, but I understand what NFT is, a non-fungible token. It's a digital asset. There's how many of those were minted? 1,000, maybe more.
So there's two different kinds. And Saturday I'll break it down a little more in depth, but there's the Genesis tokens,
Okay.
which are NFTs of like actual cryptids. So like I have a Bigfoot, I have a River Dino, and a Chupacabra Genesis token. And then there's like have you seen the gifs of the
Yep.
tokens? It's like a spinning coin. Some of them have Mothman,
Yep.
some of them
Yep.
have Jersey Devil, but there's like 2,300 of those.
Okay.
There was going to be a cap of 5,000 if they were all minted, but they didn't all get minted.
Okay. Did they sell out? Everything was purchased or no?
No, they only minted 2,300 of the maximum 5,000 mint that they
Oh,
were
okay.
going to do.
Gotcha.
They did it a little weird. Like I think what's typical, these are the only NFTs I've ever bought. I've not ever owned any other ones, and I still don't own any other ones. I don't really have any plans to either. But the way that most ones work, like the Bored Ape Yacht Club, people are probably vaguely familiar with, you would mint it blind. So you would mint it, and then whether it's an hour or a day or a week later, there would be like a reveal, and
Yeah.
you'd find out which picture of the ape that you got, whether your guy had a goofy hat or whether he was smoking a cigar or whatever they do. Um, I'm not a huge fan of those things like that. These tokens have some amount of utility with them. The one that I'm most interested in, so every token that you hold, I think the cutoff date is like February something. So like one of the tokens is a gold Mothman coin, and there's only 100 of them. Every token that you own, you get a physical promo card made like in honor of that token. So I have a gold 1 of 100 Mothman token. I'm going to get a gold Mothman 1 of 100 physical card.
That's sick.
That's my biggest. So it's like, it's not just a digital, I own a picture of a coin that does nothing. It does translate to real world utility to some extent. So that's what got me into it, honestly.
Yeah, the Bored Ape Yacht Club, after they sold on Heritage 101 apes for $23 million.
Yeah.
I did some research on them, and they started in April of last year. And in the matter of months, they're worth millions and millions of dollars.
They minted for 0.08 Ethereum. They minted for less than the Metazoo tokens minted for. The Metazoo tokens minted for 0.1.
And yeah, it's just mind blowing. And when I looked up the Bored Ape Yacht Club, it gave you access to a exclusive blog, essentially. Like you were, if you owned one of the apes, you were in this chat room, and then you also got access to the ape merch. That was it at the time when that $23 million sale thing happened. So it just people got too much money.
Which I think aren't they doing like exclusive yacht parties and stuff now?
I would hope so. Like people
think
that printed them got paid a lot of money. Yeah.
Which Metazoo has some other things too. Like if you own a token, you get access to like the day before the public gets access. This one was a little silly too. I bought it because I could. You see the blue sticker on this box?
Yeah.
So that's like a special NFT exclusive. I bought this second edition Cryptid Nation for $100. I honestly think it's silly. I wanted to get a little bit of second edition Cryptid Nation anyways, so I figured I might as well get the NFT exclusive.
Crack them for the blue ink, man.
I'm gonna open at least a couple. I think I opened like 6 of the box topper packs for first edition, chasing that red ink. But that's what I love about it. Like when I opened 2 boxes of Cryptid Nation and then 2 of Nightfall. Just knowing that there's that like lottery chance of old scratch. There's 1 of 100 in 50,000 boxes. Like I've heard people talk about like Pokemon should introduce some amount of like substantial rarity. And then, I mean, Metazoo's obviously not the Pokemon IP, and if you don't like it, you don't like it. That's fine. If you don't like the art style, you don't like it. But there are certain things that Metazoo is doing, in my opinion, that like fixes some of the things I don't like about Pokemon.
Yeah.
One thing I don't like about Pokemon specifically, and obviously it's a hot topic, is and that's different because it's a case, but like the boxes, I think they're doing good things that 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line, if Metazoo's still a thing, I think it'll be easier to authenticate like a valid box.
Yep, it's got security strip under the label.
They've got the security strips on like a lot of the seams. Every box has a different wrapping, so it's like I can't open this box and then rewrap a different one with it because they all have like different logos on the wrapping. And plus just the fact that like it came out in 2020, so the internet is so much more than it was in 1999. Like if Pokemon came out today, 20 years from now, it would be so much more heavily documented that it would probably be easier to authenticate or like declare fake a base first edition booster case.
Yep.
But in 1999, information didn't really get documented so heavily.
Yeah. Did you get into the Nightfall set or just the base sets?
Nightfall I opened.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the Thunderbird. I'm a Zapdos fan, and
Yeah.
it rang home for me.
Yeah, I did. I think my plan is going to be to do 2 boxes of each. I'm not going to build like a binder for second edition, but I'll probably open some and then just like send the singles to Troll and Toad, but I'm going to do a Kickstarter binder and a first edition binder for every set thereafter.
Yeah. While your friend Nick was at Collecticon without you, he was with Gem Mint. Did he snag up any of those promos for you?
He actually opened a Kickstarter pack, and like one argument against Metazoo is that it's all brand new, it all goes immediately pack to sleeve and then degrading. Nick opened in a Kickstarter pack and he thinks he threw it away. Like clearly he must not have opened a Mothman or a Bigfoot or anybody big, but he doesn't even remember who he opened and he doesn't remember where the cards are. He might still have them, he might not, but I thought that was funny.
Yeah, I did like a vlog on that one I went to, and me and my two friends were there. We got each a Kickstarter pack, and we just gave them to my one friend, and he opened them, and God knows what he did with them.
Yeah.
Probably should call him and tell him they might be worth something, but
Yeah, he's probably got like a couple Kickstarter Mothmans or something.
yeah. And then they gave away the Collecticon promos there that went straight to the moon as well. Like those things are expensive.
I think some of those are like the one of, aren't they? Like Mike personally stamped one of each card or something.
Yeah, I think yeah, yep. So it's a mania right now. So good for you, man.
Yeah,
It's something I probably won't be getting into because I see it similar to NFTs, like almost because like they started popping off similar time. I'm not got a lot of playable money right now. I'm more of just putting it where I want it to guarantee, or I see some gains and stuff. But you definitely could reap a lot of benefits. It could, for sure. You never know.
yeah, and it could fail, and a lot of it could go to 2-0 or near there too. So definitely, in all the videos I make of it, I'm going to make sure to disclose that I'm not advocating anyone buys it. I'm not actively selling much of it. Um,
Yeah.
it's definitely risky. And if you don't enjoy it, there's no sense. Like there's a lot of ways to make money. I'm sure that most people enjoy something that they can make money in. So go after something that you genuinely enjoy. And if you don't make money, you at least had fun along the way.
Yep. That's the name of the game.
Yep.
Just jumping back real quick, as just remembering the PWCC, I did like a breakdown of like which cards, like the quantity of different genres that are listed for the first weekly. Because they just released the preview yesterday, and Pokemon is leading everything, almost
Yep.
1.5x over baseball, which is number two, and everything else is not like Yu-Gi-Oh's like 70 cards, Magic's less than that, and that is awesome. Just see Pokemon's owning PWCC. That's crazy.
If you look at the gem rate data too, like most days, TCG, it is TCG. It's not just Pokemon in particular, but TCG is heavily Pokemon.
Yeah.
And that is usually almost every day. That's the highest graded every single day, nearly.
Yep. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. There's not a whole lot of first edition base hollows. I think it was one.
Yeah.
I think there's definitely a lot of hesitation. It's the lowest amount of first ed base hollows I've ever seen at a PWCC auction. So, but there's a lot of 9s and 8s non-hollows. So it'll be get a good snapshot of what's going on. Give people an idea.
Yeah. I haven't even looked yet. I usually try to just look that final day, like a couple hours before the pre-bidding closes. I try to hop on, and I usually just sort like price high to low to
Yep.
see if there's any big standout things. But like I said, I'm gonna try to look very little. I'm gonna try to not buy much, if anything.
Yeah, I don't
More
know if there'll be a lot for you to buy.
my game more is buying lots. Single cards tend to go closer to like market value to where there's really not much room to flip. So usually lots are my game.
Yeah, so you should delete your heritage account so you can get away from my lots on the next heritage block coming up.
One thing I do, if they keep dipping, I want to pick up a few boxes. One thing I've mentioned, it's probably been a while since I've mentioned it, but like I intend to go to a few conventions every year, and I opening packs is one of my favorite things to do in the hobby. When I go to a convention, whether to sell or to open myself and just get that experience of opening packs with people, I want to have a lot of heavy packs.
Yeah,
So like buy boxes, open them up, keep the 12 heavies to either sell like Rusty does on his channel or to sell at a con, like a guaranteed hollow. Um, and then I really like the new pack cases. I'm not a big fan of the grading scale on packs. I've mentioned that on my channel too.
yeah,
I don't understand what they're grading. Um, but
yeah.
I love the cases now that they're not folding over the flaps. I really like that as a collectible item.
So baseball card exchange grades the packs. Do you
Yep.
think that gets any effect from this?
Personally, no. I
Yeah,
think, and there is a history. I mean, there have been confirmed resealed
yeah,
packs graded and slabbed. That's where almost every pack that I've ever graded, I've pulled from a box myself. So like if someone's buying from me, they can have increased confidence, I guess, that mine are legitimate. Um, but I don't think it's going to drastically have an effect. It's a really niche market to begin with. The
yeah.
prices are very wide varying. Um, I still don't think the whole market is aware that there's like two different pack styles.
Yep.
Because sometimes I'll see like two auctions for the same pack, like PSA 10, Venus or Art, base first. Two of them will end in the same week and they'll go for the same price. It's like one of them is folded and damaged and
Yep.
the other one's actually nice.
Yeah. Pat Flynn was able to confirm that one for everybody. It was a pretty nice video.
Yeah, with his base two pack that he opened. Yeah.
You know.
It doesn't
Yeah.
bother the cards, but it creases the foil pack. I mean, it
Yeah.
makes it uglier for sure.
Yep. That probably isn't on their grading scale though. If you resub that, it'd probably get a 10.
Probably. Yeah, I mean, if it was between them giving it a 10 and them having to pay out the financial guarantee, that sucker's
Yeah.
gonna get a 10.
Yep. Exactly. Yep. So there's this gang I've heard of called E4, and
Yeah.
I've never been in. I think it's part of the Illuminati. I, when I got into the hobby, I've heard this term E4 so many times. I probably spent a month just randomly Googling it, never found anything until I found out it stands for Elite Forum. Then I
Yeah.
stumble upon this thing, and it's from straight 1876. And I still to this day don't even know how to go through this group. And it seems people still use it, and it's still from 1876. So what the hell is the Illuminati E4 group?
I started on, I actually just pulled it up quick because I couldn't remember the exact date. So I got back into the hobby in 2014. I lurked on E4. Like I don't remember exactly when, but I can see here that I registered in October of 2015. And I've done over 5,000 posts since October of 2015. I'm very active on the forum. I love it. It's just hundreds or thousands of very active people in the community. Some people operating as businesses, some people just true collectors, and just the common thread between most people there is just people have a passion for Pokemon.
Yeah,
Um, I really love the amount of knowledge that's there. Love the amount of like when events happen. It's been a couple years now, but I went to some of the E4 meetups at 2018 Worlds, 2019 Worlds. I went to the Hartford regionals that obviously it was the Pokemon community as a whole, but some of the long time people who became friends through E4. We had like side meetups that we did.
Yeah.
Always a great time. So now I've got kind of like friends from E4, friends from YouTube, Instagram, and that's why I'm excited to get out to conventions again. It's tough right now. I do intend to make a couple this year though, for sure.
Which ones you thinking? Collecticons, I'm guessing, or
I'm definitely not going to be in Orlando.
yeah,
Charlotte. Charlotte is the first one that I'm targeting.
yeah. You've
Hopefully,
never been to one, a Collecticon?
nope.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd recommend going not as a vendor, just to take it all in, because there's so much effing stuff there. It's actually insane.
If I do go as a vendor, it will likely be like a shared table
Yeah,
with
so you can
some
take turns, kind of
Yep.
walking the floor. That's the way to do it.
And I think my strategy, like I wouldn't lug around any massive cards because it would be stressful. I would go with a lot of like cheaper inventory that I think does well. People can pull out a 20 and walk away with a slab. Um, that way I wouldn't stress about it so much. But I would have a fat stack of business cards and I would have a nice big banner. I like getting your name out there is definitely
Yep.
a big part of those cons, having a booth.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I went, the first one was just walking around. The second one I vended at, and I had a guy there so I could walk around a little bit still, but I went with way too many expensive cards. I made some sales, which made up for the trip, but still did well, but definitely like sub $100 is the way to go.
Yeah.
Like, it's
And then it's not as big of a stress either.
no,
Yeah, because I mean, I sell actively on eBay, Troll and Toad, PWCC. I'm able to sell cards
yeah,
pretty. I've got a good
at
handle
will
on it.
almost.
I've got a good handle on it, and I don't really need a convention to like offload inventory. So if and when I ever vend one, it'll definitely be having a good time will be the primary thing.
Yep,
Not like,
social event. Yep,
yeah,
yep. I hear
networking
you.
and meeting new people and seeing old friends and all that. That's what the hobby's all about.
Yeah, no, it's been a journey, that's for sure. This whole YouTube thing, which when did you start yours? Exactly. Is it a year? I don't even
So
remember.
I think I claimed the name in like late 2020,
Yeah.
but my first post was my first podcast with Nick, and it was in
Yep.
like March.
Yep.
So we just did episode 22, 22. So episode 26 will be our 1 year anniversary. So like 2 months away.
And I just did some research on your page. You just passed 63,000 views in total, I
I,
believe. Like if you
I haven't
click
even
the
looked at
about,
my
yeah, if you click the about tab on your channel, it'll give you, anybody can see it. And you just passed me today.
oh really? When
Which
did
is
you start yours?
it was December of 2020. No, yeah. Yeah, December of 2020. I was opening World of Warcraft booster boxes once a week and didn't really get into Pokemon until March. It didn't start doing probably regular content until June of 2020. Right? Yeah.
That's one thing that I did do. Like I've been proud of myself in that I set a schedule for when I was going to upload and how frequently I was going to do it, and I've pretty regularly stuck with that. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't do anything spectacular. I
No.
This
Yeah.
is what I'm buying, this is what I'm sending to grade, this is what just came back from grading, and then I talk over my commentary of what's going on at that time, and no editing, one take, but I enjoy it. Like part of it, I've been in the hobby for 7, 8 years now. I did so much amazing stuff the first 7 years, and like I have the memory of it, but I don't
Yeah.
have a great memory, and it
Can't
could have
look,
faded with time.
can't
Like
watch it.
YouTube is like a time capsule for me. Like I think back to some of the collection buys I did, some of the boxes that I opened. I wish I had a YouTube for like the whole 8 years I've been in the hobby. It would have been amazing. So part of it is like just documenting my journey for myself. And then another part of it is like, as I said, I've gotten so much value from me for other knowledgeable people. And I hope that just me documenting my journey, and I think it has. I mean, I've had some really good interactions with viewers. I hope
Yep.
it's helpful to other people. Like, these are some mistakes that I made. This is how I list things on eBay. This is what I look out for, doing this, doing that. And I think certain things have genuinely helped people at times. So I like the idea of that too, because years ago I was watching Gem at Pokemon, TCA Gaming, SM Pratt, and those guys helped me a lot. So I just want to pay it forward, I guess, to some extent if I can.
Yep. Yeah, I'm basically the same.
Hmm.
Some of my first videos was like me opening those World of Warcraft boxes. Ain't nobody in the world opening World of Warcraft boxes. I was like, I played this for when it first came out, and I opened 7 boxes and didn't even pull the damn card I wanted. Um, so I need to go now that they 3x in price, go get more of them. But is just documenting, and I luckily did it right when I started collecting Pokemon, and so I got some of the original collections I purchased. And yeah, just it's crazy the amount of views. Like some of your recent videos, like just picturing like 1,000 people sitting there watching Dan talk about Pokemon cards. Like, could you imagine an auditorium of people
Yeah, like
sitting there to watch you talk about? It's just baffling to me.
I recently had this like we're tiny on YouTube
Yeah,
in comparison to like the Leon Hearts, Unlisted Leafs, Pokerevs, but it's still mind blowing. Like I live in a small town in the woods, and
yeah.
I graduated from the same high school as my wife. Our entire school from K to 12 was about 1,000 students. So it's like when
Yeah,
I post the video and within a week I've got that many people.
the whole town's the whole town's showing
It's
up.
like it really is just mind-boggling sometimes. I've talked with Nick about it. I've talked with my wife about it. It's like it's kind of crazy that people want to listen to me talk about this stuff.
Yeah, no, it is, man. It's awesome though, like because like obviously there's tons of great people. There's a couple bad eggs I'm sure out there, but you get those random people commenting on your videos or whoever. But most people are pretty genuine and are here for a good time, just to sit down, listen to some shit while they're working, and it's
Yeah.
education, just getting educated, really.
Yep.
You mentioned the outdoors. Can we talk for a second about Nick being a bitch and not owning up to that question?
Yeah. Yeah, Survivor Man. That was my show. I was so annoyed by Man versus Wild because I did not like Bear Grylls, and it's like this stuff would just get you killed or whatever. And then you read the articles about how he'd go back to a hotel, and he had a camera crew and stuff too. Les
Yeah,
Stroud was like out there doing it.
eating some
Um,
calamari at night,
yeah.
relaxing.
And again, like I live in the woods in upstate New York, so I love the outdoors, hiking, camping, all that kind of stuff, and it's hunting, fishing, things like that. I not so much in the past several years, but I do want to like my ideal retirement is just owning like a square mile of land and just having a house in the middle of it with a nice big pond, a lot of nice scenery,
Trails.
and just
Yeah.
like kick back and just solitude.
Oh yeah. Where about upstate New York?
I'm in like the Syracuse area.
Okay. Yeah, we got my father-in-law is from Buffalo, Medina area, so I've
Yep.
gone there a few times. It's I like it. It's pretty far drive for me. I'm in, well, not too bad. I'm in Detroit area, Michigan, so about 12-hour drive.
I'm like 3 hours further east, two and a half, 3 hours further east of Buffalo.
Yeah, yeah, awesome. Yeah, man, it's crazy times, but your channel's doing seems to be doing pretty well. Coming right off the definitely gonna link it down below in the description, but seems to be doing some good work. I'm enjoying the content. Yours, Nick's, there's a bunch of people did a video recently about who I'm subscribed to, and
Yeah, I commented a few.
yep, yeah,
videos.
Pokemon Classics I had never watched, so I've been checking out some of his videos, subscribed to him, and he definitely takes the damn time to edit some videos. He does some good work on that. That's for sure.
Yeah, like he doesn't have Pat Flynn level like support. Like I think Pat Flynn, Deep Pocket Monster, he has like a team who helps him with all that. But Pokemon Classics is doing like
Yeah.
near that production quality level all
Yep.
on his own, which is crazy. And I met him in Vegas with
Yep.
Nick. So
Pokemon Saves the World event. Yeah.
yep. He
Yeah.
did a cool like montage of that event.
Okay. I'll have to go check that one out. Awesome.
Yeah, he makes some really quality videos. There's a lot of good content out there. The kind that I make is the kind that I enjoy too. Like just people talking Pokemon. Throw it on in the background while I'm doing listings, while I'm packing orders, whatever. I just love the hobby, love to hear people talk about it, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. I need to get PokeNav and Nick together. I think that would be a really good podcast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude's a savage, man.
Yeah, yes.
He's going in on
He revealed to the world the whole shopping cart thing, and now he's just like going hard on people.
yeah, poor eBay people, man. I feel bad for the eBay buyers.
Yeah.
You mentioned you're a fan of Black Mirror. It's been a while since they've released, I think, a new season. It's been probably 2 years.
And I didn't even see the final season yet. When we talked about that a little bit, I went back and I just looked at the episode list. I didn't watch the movie yet, and I didn't watch the entirety. I think it's like 3 episodes of the final season, 4 or 5, five. I think.
Was that the Miley Cyrus season, or was that the one before that? I don't know. Maybe that won't ring a bell for you, but
The ones that I enjoyed the most, I think, were like seasons 1 and 2.
yeah.
And some of them are like eerily applicable to today's like NFT world. 15 million merits comes to mind for the whole NFT thing, the
Yep.
metaverse and all that.
That should like it just it's way too real. Like that show was just before its time. They're it's where people look back on it and be like, okay, that guy like rewinding the memories and that shit was just it's gonna happen at some point.
We're like eerily close on certain ones in particular. Nosedive, that was the one where you rank people. Like we're meeting right now, we're talking, we're interacting. I would like rate you socially.
Oh yeah, that was weird. Yeah.
You'd have a rating out of 5 stars that like enabled you to
as a person
to get on certain flights, to be able to get an apartment in certain complexes. And that's
chasing people down because they give you a 3-star, like almost murder because this guy just wrecked your day because you can't get into Red Robin now.
Yeah, imagine selling on eBay and then that person doesn't just like give you a negative on your eBay. That person literally like impacts your life with a negative social rating.
Imagine it's like LinkedIn having reviews on LinkedIn. Like it'd be crazy. Yeah, that show is wild. I remember it was like the second episode, or it was the first episode with the pig, and I was like, "What the hell am I watching?"
That was one of my least favorite ones because it was just like,
it was a little much.
Yeah, that one was a little much, but there's a lot of great episodes in there for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's too much.
I actually intended to like, since I knew once we scheduled this day, I intended to like binge some of them to just completely refresh myself. But I've got such a big YouTube backlog of content I want to get through, and I've got so much work I need to do. If I started watching Black Mirror, I would like pay too much attention.
Yeah, I've lost a lot of TV time. I just finished Shameless, but it ended 2 years ago.
Right.
I've just been
My wife and I just finished that too.
Really? That
We're
was
working
sad.
through. We're like 4 episodes into Ozark right now, which has started well. I like it so far.
Netflix? Is that Netflix?
Yeah. We do like. It takes us several months to get through a show that only has a few seasons, and if it's a show like Shameless, like we started Shameless back when it was going on,
Yep.
and then we're just not current. Like whatever we did watch Squid Game, the whole thing, but it took us like it was like 3 months after the main hype. Vegas, it was actually big. So Vegas was September or October. So maybe it only took us a month or two to watch Squid Game, but that one was fairly short.
Yeah, it was like 7 episodes. Marathon.
We're usually like we're not up with the latest hot trend show. We're just working through. Netflix has so much.
Yep.
But Ozark seems good so far.
Yeah, Netflix cancel everything now or not post anything new, and I'd probably be set for the rest of my life on new content. It just,
Oh yeah.
I can't even keep up. There's so much going on. It's good though. It's good to. Is that like your thing to do when just decompress? Is watch some TV sometimes?
Yeah, I mean the pandemic unfortunately has had us. Well, the pandemic and a young baby too. Pandemic or not, when you have a newborn or a very young baby, you're going to be more homebound than normal. But my wife and I are both, even before kids, like we're homebodies.
Yep.
Going out to eat was kind of a big thing, and then movies occasionally. But during the pandemic, like neither of those at all, especially with kids. Traveling though, like bucket list type thing, seeing all 50 states is something we're definitely going to do. That's like a lifelong goal. So travel is a big one.
Hell yeah, that's good, man. You've been been out of the country at all, or
I mean Canada, which doesn't really count.
your neighbor? It's a 3 hour drive.
Yeah, Canada doesn't really count. I've been to Niagara Falls a few times, but Alaska is the furthest I've ever made it. So obviously it's the U.S., but it's not the 48 lower states. We did that for our honeymoon. It was actually awesome.
Oh hell yeah, yeah.
A
We did.
very it's a very atypical honeymoon destination. There was one other couple of honeymooners on the ship. We did like it was a 2 week cruise, 1 week on land, and then 1 week on sea. And there was one other honeymooning couple on a ship with like thousands of people.
Wow, that's
And it
cool
was
though. It's gotta be
mostly
gorgeous.
like elderly retired people. It was funny.
Yeah, that's well. We did like a Central America, Costa Rica. We went to Costa Rica because it was like half the price of Europe.
Nice.
So it was like 3 grand instead of 6 grand for a week, and just did that, and it was awesome. Lots of volcanoes, monkeys, and it was cool seeing all that in real life.
Yeah, there's a lot of different countries that I'd love to travel to someday. And I guess if Worlds actually happens in London, probably not this year, but like if it happens in 2023, I'd probably go to it. Since I'm doing this full time, but part of my travel has just been like there's so many places I'd love to go in the world, but I also want to do all 50 states, and there's so many nice places to see in the US also.
Yeah, there is.
Like, I mean, each state has something great to offer, some beautiful national park or some kind of touristy destination or
Yep.
so maybe once I hit all 50 states, if I'm lucky enough to live a long, healthy life, maybe we'll start hitting other continents and countries too.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah, just keeps on, keeps on, and I think it'll be all right. I don't see the bottom dropping out of it, so I think it'll be pretty flat line. Personally, my flat line here for a little while and see what happens. But
You mentioned your kids aren't really getting into it yet, right?
no, yeah, my daughter my daughter will come in. She knows Pikachu, and that's the only one I
Yeah.
think, and which still knows Pikachu already, but yeah, not so much. The didn't get him anything for Christmas. She's a girly girl. She's my son. I don't know. He's a bastard himself. So but yeah, not yet. I don't know if I want him to. It'd be too expensive.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned about that as they grow older, but like I have, I mean, I'm doing this for a job now, especially. I have Pokemon everywhere. So my son, he really, the Build-A-Bear plush and stuffed animals were the first ones that he really started taking interest in. And like we'll battle with him. He'll grab Charmander use Fire Blast, and I'll be hydro pumping him with a Squirtle. And he got into the show for a while too, but he's all over the place with shows. He's been less into that lately, but
CoComelon.
CoComelon is a big one. Yeah.
Oh man, gotta love that show. It's so creepy, man.
My daughter got the JJ doll for Christmas,
Oh
and
my
he got
god.
some pajamas. Yeah. That YouTube channel rakes in some dough.
Yeah, I saw Mr. Beast post something. He surpassed CoComelon in growth, but CoComelon was like number 3 in 2021
Yeah.
for number of subscribers gained.
Crazy.
The kids own YouTube, man. They just put that shit on repeat. Like Baby
Yeah.
Shark is, I don't know how many billions of views.
Yeah.
Over 100 billion, I think it was, is the big mile marker they hit. And just, I hate that song. My daughter knows how to talk to the Alexa very good, and
Yeah.
holy cow!
She'll get it playing herself.
Oh yeah, she can get the whole symphony orchestra going. All 3
Yeah.
rooms playing the same song.
Yeah.
It's their kids they're amazing, but holy cow, they're a handful.
Yeah, definitely.
I do enjoy watching some classic Disney movies, and Encanto is a really good movie, but
Yeah.
yeah. Well, man, I won't keep you too long. I know you're a busy man. I appreciate definitely getting on here, man. It's been good to finally talk to you. I know I've messaged you quite a bit. Busted yours and Nick's balls a few times on YouTube, a couple times maybe, but definitely
Yeah.
won't let that go away.
I really appreciate you having me on, and unfortunately I didn't make it to that Collecticon where you and Nick met in person. I'll look forward to meeting you in person someday.
Yeah.
Hopefully it'll happen this year, but I'm glad we were able to do this. It is weird, like you've watched quite a bit of my content. I've watched quite a bit of your content. You feel like you know someone. Like this doesn't really feel like we're meeting for the first time. It feels like we've known each other.
Yeah.
Definitely
That's the best thing about YouTube. I watched Logan's podcast, and he's always talking about, he's like, we're different from Leonardo DiCaprio. Like, people relate to us. Like, these people have seen me grow up since the age of 18, and they walk up to me, hey Logan, man, how's it going? It's like, dude, I don't know you, but I'm doing good. Like, good to see you. And when you go to your first con, like, since you haven't really done one since YouTube, I don't know if people were walking up to you at Pokemon Saves the World, but having that booth, it was awesome. Like, I think I had like 7 people come up to me and say, hey man, I know you from YouTube. I'm like, yeah, that's fucking awesome. Like, so that's pretty cool. So I'll definitely be getting out to some of the Collecticons. Not Orlando. I just bought my house, trying to sell my other one now. So
congrats on that.
Yeah, thanks,
You
man.
got a nice setup now.
Yeah, I work from home selling automotive fasteners, so it's a dual office.
You made your way out of the basement, right?
Yep, that's it. That's exactly. It was colder than balls down there, so I'm extremely happy in the upstairs office with sunlight now. So
that's good.
Upgrades.
Yeah.
All right, man. I'll definitely be in touch. Hopefully, talk to you soon. All right.
Yep. Nice talking. Thanks again.
Yeah, man. You have a good night.
Yeah, you too.
All right, man. Peace.